like this, it's a feast. And a feast is for family. They all meld together into a very delicious dish. The sauce just fills your mouth with flavor. This is such a good dish. Today, we are going to make one of my favorite dishes. They're Syrian meatballs. Yum. They come from a friend of mine named Melanie Franco-Nussdorf, who lives in Washington, D.C. And she's from the Syrian Jewish community of Brooklyn and of Deal, New Jersey. This has been a recipe that's been in her family for 5 generations. And it's just a must for holidays for her and for her guests. We take the meatballs, and you've got to use your fingers for this dish because, you know, how can you mold meatballs without your fingers? So you might as well use it in combining things. So here's the 2 pounds of ground beef. Here you add the onions. So there's a lot of flavor. The sauteed onions, and really try to caramelize them. Cook them as long as you can because they'll just be sweeter and really delicious. So the garlic. Now, of course, you've got to be careful of your salt. If you have kosher meat, you're going to want to use less salt. Pine nuts, yum. Aleppo pepper, about a half a teaspoon. Cumin, allspice, this is a teaspoon. Here's about a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. 2 teaspoons of tomato paste. And here's an egg, and of course here is the tamarind, which a heaping teaspoon of it. And as I said, you really need to use your hands. Get yourself a little dirty. So we're mixing them. Then you just start making them, forming them. See, there's a lot of onion in this. Okay, so you want them to be 1 1/4 inch in diameter. And this is a good one to get people to help you to mold. Now that the meatballs are baking in the oven, I'm going to make the sauce, which is quite extraordinary. So what I'm going to do is first of all saute the onions in some olive oil. So we just want to fry the onions, and while they're frying, I'll mix the rest of the ingredients. I put some beef stock in. And you can cheat if you want to using beef cubes, but you know, beef stock really adds a great flavor and a depth to all cooking. A cup of red wine, some lemon juice, and we'll add lemon at the end as well. Dried cherries, which thankfully are on the market today. Sour cherries. And of course, this wonderful, wonderful tamarind, a heaping tablespoon or 2 of the tamarind to make it really tart, and about a tablespoon of allspice. So what we're going to do is mix that all together, add some salt and pepper. Always have to add salt and pepper to everything. I'm just going to add a little pinch of Aleppo pepper because it's going to taste so good. You just want them to be transparent, or they could be cooked longer if you want to. And that's what you want, to bring out some of the sweetness. So then what we're going to do is get rid of some of the oil. Put the rest of them in here. I'm going to cook this sauce for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to pour it on top of those delicious meatballs that are cooking in the oven. Well, the meatballs have come out of the oven and they smell and taste delicious. So what I do is I put them on rice. You always have rice in the Middle East. You spoon on the delicious sauce. Don't forget, it has wine, it has tamarind, it's got cherries, yum. Pine nuts. I always put a little bit of parsley or cilantro because I like color. I'm going to squeeze another lemon on top. Voila. I'm going to try a little bit of it. Looks so good. It's really delicious. The sauce just fills your mouth with flavor, with tamarind, with Aleppo pepper, with allspice, with cinnamon. They all meld together into a very delicious dish. Bon appetit.